Hello my honeybees. It's been a pretty long time since I've last uploaded a long mukbang video. I have been uploading shorts here and there, but I haven't been able to do a long mukbang video because a lot has been going on the past few months, and I did upload some videos about it. If you guys have been with me for a while, you guys know I thought I wasn't gonna tear up talking about it anymore because it's been a couple months. But you guys know my kids Zeno and Zena. They're back here. They're no longer here with me. On June 28th, that was a day before my brother B's birthday, Zeno suddenly couldn't breathe and couldn't walk, and we took him to urgent care, and we found out that he had lung cancer. And it was a shock to me because I know they were getting older. I know they were 13 years old now, but they still looked really young and really healthy. Every time I walked them, everyone would be like, oh my gosh, how old are they? And I tell them 13. They're like, 13 months? And I'm like, no, 13 years. And they would always say like, oh my gosh, they look so young. And so by their physical looks, it didn't hit me that they were getting older. I guess in a way I've always been in denial when it comes to someone passing away or death in general. And it was like that when my dad had a lot of surgeries and he was getting frail and he was getting emaciated, but I refused to admit it. And so I always thought Zeno and Zena were healthy. I knew something was going on with Zena because she was suddenly losing a lot of weight and not eating as much. And for Zena, she lived for food. Every time she hears like a plastic bag, she would come running and like touch her nose on the bag to tell us to give her like treats or food or whatever.
You want treats? Yay!
But it was more shocking to me because I had no idea that Zeno was sick. I took Zeno and Zena to the vet a month or two prior to his passing, and the vet said that Zeno was perfectly healthy and we had nothing to worry about. But Zena, she had UTI, and they asked me if you guys want to go more aggressive with it, we can get x-ray and all that, but I wanted her to take antibiotics first, and I didn't think it was severe because she looked fine and she was eating fine, everything else was fine. And because they said Zeno was perfectly healthy, this was unbearable to me when I found out he had lung cancer. I knew a few weeks prior to going to urgent care he couldn't really hold his pee anymore, and I thought that was because he was getting older, but I think it was just that he was getting sick, and that's one thing I regret. I wish I took him to the urgent care instead of taking him to the vet. Learning that he had lung cancer, the doctor did say he thinks the lung cancer came recently. It's not like he's had it for a while, but the fact that I didn't take him to urgent care as soon as he started having accidents in the house was what made me sort of hate myself. And when the doctor told us that he had lung cancer, I did want to do everything we could to have Zeno go through surgery, if that's something that was a possibility that he could live a little longer. And we had to move him to another urgent care because the first one we went to wasn't 24 hours. and they put him on air ventilator. And I thought when they transported him, they would transport them like they do us in their own transportation. But they told us to take him to the other urgent care, and they took the, I think as soon as they took the air out, he couldn't breathe more. While moving to the other urgent care, he started barking. When we took him to the other urgent care, he looked hopeful when he came out of the first urgent care, and I put him inside my car. But as soon as he started barking, I could smell his breath, and deep inside I knew that might be the last day, but I just didn't want to admit it. And at the other urgent care, when we were talking to the doctor, while the doctor was talking to us, the nurse came in our room and they said Zeno passed away. The only thing that came to my mind was guilt and all the regrets that I had, because I feel like the past year or two I was just focused on myself and didn't spend as much time as I should have with Zeno and Zena. I thought we had at least 2 more years together. And this couch I even bought so I could start sleeping with Zeno and Zena, because Terry has dog allergies. So when we moved in together, I couldn't sleep with Zeno anymore on the same bed. And I bought this couch to sleep with it, but a couple months after this happened, it's still so unreal, and I can't believe they're not here. The house feels so empty. And the house feels so much bigger now that they're not here. So not too long after Zeno passed, Xena passed away on July 10th. And we found out, we took Xena to the urgent care as well, because just to make sure. And she wasn't eating as well as she used to, and Xena loves food. Like, her passion in her life is food. And we knew something was wrong as soon as she was eating slower and she lost her appetite. They said she had a mass in her stomach. It could be benign, it could be malignant. And of course I stayed hopeful. And I was like, okay, I hope Xena at least lives 2 years more. And when we took her to the urgent care, they suggested that we put her down, because they said we shouldn't let them be in pain. But I didn't want to do that, because Xena seemed fine and she was still eating, and you know, she was still smiling, and she was not showing her pain to us. And it just didn't feel right that I let her go already. And so we kept her on 24-hour watch at home, and we just told them, no, we're gonna take her home and spend as much time as we can with her. And I don't know if you guys know or remember, but I took Zeno to an RV camp. But I could only take him alone because it was just too difficult handling both of them in one car, and just, you know, having to deal with Xena because she was always so energetic and she pulled a lot. whereas Zeno was always the calm one. So I took Zeno first, and then I promised Xena that I would take her there too later. I did keep that promise, and we took her together, Terry and I, to the camp, and we try to feed her as much good food as possible. I was able to keep that promise with her, and not too long after we took her to the campsite, we came back and I was giving her medicine, even Chinese herbal medicine that they have for dogs, and whatever we could to make that pain go away inside her if she was in any pain. Zeno and Zena never expressed pain, and I think that was because they didn't want me to worry too much. Like, to me, Zeno and Zena, they weren't dogs. They were like human dogs. It really felt like they were human inside. Like, they understood me. They did everything they could to not make me worry. I miss them so much. And Zena, I tried to stay with her as much as I could at home, and the day before she couldn't stand up, I couldn't sleep, and Zena couldn't sleep either. What's crazy is that I think Zeno was trying to tell me not to go before he passed away. He suddenly would just stand in front of the door when I was about to head out, and he wouldn't move, and he never did that. He never did that, but 2 days in a row he did that, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, I guess like he wants me to stay, and I was like, I'll be back home soon, you know. I had to run errands. But I think it was a sign. He was telling me, like, I don't have much time. And I read online that dogs, they will tell you. They'll start, like, barking in space and, like, just standing, staring at nothing. And that's, like, a sign that they tell you. But I didn't know. And then with Xena, the day before we had to put her down, she stared at me all night.
You're gonna keep looking at me with those pretty eyes?
And I was like, oh, you're just staring at me with those, like, loving eyes. And Terry saw when dogs stare at you like that all night, or when dogs stare at you like that, it means it's them hugging you. So Zena was hugging me all night before she decided to cross the bridge, and that made me cry and hurt even more for not being there for her as much and not being the best mom that I could have been. All these feelings of regret just like bottled up inside and just exploded. And Xena, the last day, she couldn't get up, and we took her to the urgent care, and we had to let her go. I didn't want to, but we had to. And Xena, like the princess warrior, she was such a fighter. She didn't show any pain. Like, imagine having a mass in your stomach. I can't imagine how much she was hurting inside, and she still just wanted to be there with us. When she couldn't eat or she lost appetite, I knew that was when something was wrong. Zeno and Zena are no longer here physically with us, and they took a huge part of my soul with them. It's a whole different pain than when my dad passed away. They only for us. All they look up to is us. All they love is us. And that's what hurt me the most. Because we as humans, we can do things on our own and we live our own lives. Like, we can't always be there for our dogs, right? But all they do is wait for us at home. Just cuddle with us, love us, give us the most love they can. That's all they have to give. Like, I cried for days and days and days, and I just wanted to numb my pain away. And it was the same thing when my dad passed. I just drank and tried to numb my pain away. And I felt bad for brother too, because Zeno passed the day before my brother's birthday, and for my brother's birthday we couldn't do anything. I was just here crying, bawling. And I also felt bad for Xena, because when Zeno passed, I was bawling all day, every day, like like crying, like that. And I know dogs feel emotions way more than we probably do. And thinking about it, I feel bad, because she was hurting and she probably knew something was wrong. She probably knew. Zeno was no longer here. The guy who always played with her and like bullied her from here and there, but in a playful way. But I just thought I should let you know that they are no longer here with us, and I just wanted to thank you guys for loving them as much as I love them. And I know I've been gone for a while, and for those of you guys who are still here, thank you for understanding. It's been one of the worst years, I think, 2024. It was just so unexpected. I really thought I had at least 2 more years with them. It hurts more because Zeno and Zena were there for me at my hardest, at my lowest point in life. They were like my kids. It hurts so much. I wish I could have done more for them. And I wish I knew that they were hurting, that they were sick, or they were getting sick. That's what hurts me the most, that I didn't know. I couldn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I wish I took them to the urgent care from the start, and that's what hurts me the most. I feel like I could have done something about it to prevent it or have them here longer. I miss them so much. I don't know what I would have done if this happened to me and Terry wasn't here for me, because Terry helped me grieve over it and comforted me. He even surprised me with like photos of Zeno and Zena and made a huge like photo frame of them, and even surprised me with figure, like kind of like dolls of Zeno and Zena that looks like them, that basically looks like a clone of them, and yeah, he's helped me a lot trying to cope with it. And my best friend also got me these pillows of Zeno and Zena. My friend also got me like a water painting of Zeno and Zena, and I'm just so grateful. But I do miss them so much. They really took part of my heart. They took part of my soul with them. A huge part of my life. They were there. And when I would cry, Zeno would always come and like lick the tears off my face. They were the best things that ever happened to me. I know I've been crying a lot in some of my recent videos, and you know, to be honest, I came across one comment that was like, oh my gosh, here she goes again, she's crying again. And I think none of the mean comments get to me, but comments like that, it's like, what if your friend came up to you? Because like, to me, this is like my diary, and you guys are like my friends. But it felt like, what if your friend came up to you and, you know, their dad or someone they love passed away, and your response was, oh my gosh, here she goes again. That's kind of how I felt. Like, a friend was like, oh wow, there she goes again. Crying episode of crying again. That comment kind of made me take a step back, and I thought I needed a break from YouTube. And also, this happened after planning on taking a step back and taking a break. But 2024 has been one of the worst years of my life. And I know you guys adored Zeno and Zena too. I wish I had them more in my videos so I could have like a diary or at least some video memories of them. But yeah, you guys, that is my life update, and I thought I could finally talk about it without crying like this. I thought I would maybe have a teardrop or two, but it's never easy. It's not easy. Not being able to hear their little footsteps and their little woo, like whining. Like, Zeno was super talkative, so not hearing him like complain or whine or try to talk to me, I think that's what hurts the most. That's what makes me feel so empty inside. And Xena's little crazy zoomies and her running to me whenever she hears food, or whenever I go to the kitchen, or whenever I come out of my room. But you guys, I will be back with mukbang videos and other videos. I want to do other videos other than mukbang on this channel. Thank you guys for understanding, and I'm sorry for crying, bawling like this again, but I thought this was the least I could do to update you guys on what had happened. What happened to Zeno and Zena. A lot of you guys thought it was just Zeno that passed away, but I think Xena wanted to be with her brother and also wanted to comfort us before she left. And she was able to be strong enough to stay for 2 more weeks after Zeno left. But thank you guys for watching, and thank you for loving and caring and adoring Zeno and Zena. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.